You don't have to have self-pity or be a mentality of being victimized. There's no racism. You can do what you want in America and the world. Only you could breathe for yourself, and like only you can see with your own eyes. So it's up to what you want. I made $100 million in like football contracts.
Anytime white people want to smooth some shit over, they go get that rich nigga and put you on TV to represent the people, you know? You have you asking your questions like, Damon, now that you made this $13 million, and we're not counting, now that you made all this money, let me ask you this. Let me just throw this out at you. You respond any way you want. Is there racism in America? You be sitting there thinking about that paycheck, talking about, no, sir. If in there is, I ain't seen none.
All right, Shalom. This is the brother Nahalia from the GMS Orlando camp. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who are the elders of Yashar Allah, and a sincere salutation to all you Akim, who are preaching this word and believing this word, and to the Akwath, who are believing this word in all truth and in sincerity. This is Proverbs chapter 17 and verse 23. A wicked man taketh a gift out of the bosom to pervert the ways of judgment. All right. And this is, of course, Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and verse 6. Folly is set in great dignity, and the rich sit in low place. I have seen servants upon horses, and princes walking as servants upon the earth. This is also Ecclesiastes 7 and 7. Surely oppression maketh the wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart. And this lesson is based on the clip you just saw, and it's a perfect example, all right, of the mentality of our people, beginning with those who have been given substance, if you want to call it that, in this society. All right, our people have been giving gifts, and because of that, they have perverted judgment. All right, this is why a guy like this can get on a camera and say it doesn't exist because he made $100 million playing football. All right. And this is why the Lord specifically, because when you look at the scriptures that I just grabbed, those are scriptures dealing with the law. All right. Or wisdom, I should say. All right. And this is something that the Lord told us before they had fiat currency. All right. That gifts destroy judgment. All right. When you take gifts, all right, your judgment and your integrity should go above any gift. All right. And this is why in the law it says this. Deuteronomy chapter 16 and verse 19. Thou shalt not wrest judgment. Thou shalt not respect persons. Neither take a gift. For a gift doth blind the eyes of the wise and pervert the words of the righteous. All right. And through the Spirit, this is why the Lord gave us this counsel. All right. Because gifts destroy the heart. All right. Gifts destroy your ability to give sound judgment. All right. When they're not put in their proper place. All right. Esau, this is why folly is set in great dignity. All right. Because Jake will do anything for money, and they'll compromise their integrity to do so. All right. And it shows you the simplicity of our people. That because one guy can make $100 million playing football to entertain other nations of people, that there's no longer a situation where Jake, you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are being prejudiced. I would even say outright racist. All right. You don't see other nations who have to deal with Jake getting pulled over, all right, and harassed or being followed in stores. All right. You don't see other nations having to go through that. You don't see other nations who get profiled like you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right. We could talk about the wealth gap, because while he may have made $100 million in the football league, the average Negro, Latino, or Native American is in straits. All right. Real quick. This is the NLT of Deuteronomy chapter 16 and 19. And it says, "You must never twist justice or show partiality. Never accept a bribe, for bribes blind the eyes of the wise and corrupt the decisions of the godly." All right, and this is why, as the scriptures say, the righteous is more excellent than his neighbor, but the ways of the wicked seduceth them. Why? Because they take these gifts, all right, dealing with these guys who have been put on a pedestal, all right, whether it's music or entertainment. These guys have perverted judgment. And this is why guys like Lil Wayne say the same thing. He said this years before, all right, that he don't believe that there's racism because a so-called white man saved his life, which might have been a Jake. Who knows? All right. Real quick, this is Proverbs chapter 16. And I'm going to jump down to 25. All right. And it reads, "There is a way that seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death." All right. Because following this mindset, and this is why the scriptures talk about those leaders causing their people to err. All right. Because again, it destroys our people when they put their heart and soul into this place, believing that there is no issue, all right, as far as racism is concerned anymore. They destroy themselves in this society. And this is why you have to judge the quality of your nation by the average member of your nation, not by the exception. Your nation is judged on the quality of living of your nation is judged on the average member of your nation, not the exception. His statement of him making $100 million does not mean the average Negro, Latino, or Native American's quality of life is the same. He's an exception to the fact. And I'll show you something. The average life of a so-called white person is decent. The average life, the quality of life for the average Edomite in Babylon the Great and abroad is good. They have some examples of being dirt poor, but the average, on average, they're doing well. You Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, on average, are not. And while you may have an exception to the rule, you still judge the quality of a nation on the average member of that nation's quality of life. All right. Now, this is also, let's go to Proverbs chapter 12. I'm going to jump down to verse 26. "The righteous is more excellent than his neighbor, but the way of the wicked seduceth him." All right, because the scriptures talk about that. All right, these are the wicked, all right, who prosper in this world. And Jake sees it and they're envious of it and they're willing to do anything for it. And then a lot of them get it and then they realize that it don't mean anything anyway. All right. And this guy's doing exactly what he's told to do, because he knows if he says anything else, they could take that $100 million. And this is why Esau exalts individuals like this, guys who don't really have integrity. All right. They'll say anything to keep the money flowing. And once upon a time, all right, and we're getting back to that through the spirit, integrity was more important than money. That's the standard the Lord set for us as a nation of people. This is why the scriptures talk about not exalting a rich man or being a respecter of persons. Why? Because if the rich man is there, you can't pervert the judgment, all right, because he has more money than the next guy. But in this society, everything is built around that. Now, we have to be wise as serpents and harmless as doves. But ultimately, all right, this place and Jake, especially those who have been propped up, they have been given these gifts and they're paid to tell our people that there's no issues, that all you got to do is work hard and get 3 jobs and only get 2 hours of sleep. And you too, all right, can be at the top 1%. And this is why the scriptures talk about a gift perverting judgment, destroying the heart, destroying the understanding of a man. And really those gifts go back to bribes, all right? Because what Jake gets is a bribe, all right? This is why they pay musicians and athletes so much money. When you think about the richest people of our nation that you know about, it's entertainers, all right? And they're paid like this, all right? Because it gives them the ability, all right, to pervert judgment. They have huge platforms where they can say, look, I don't believe that, racism exists. And then it make our people think there's something wrong with them because their quality of life is terrible. And in their mind, it's because they haven't worked hard enough, because they got guys like Antonio Brown telling them that racism don't exist. And this is who your children are looking to. This is who your children are watching and aspiring to be like. This is why the Lord said that, man, let's get it. This is Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 9. Except the Lord of hosts had left unto us a very small remnant, we should have been as Sodom, and we should have been like unto Gomorrah. All right, and this is what our people don't realize, that judgment is coming. All right, the Lord is about to settle the score. All right, and he's separated for himself a remnant of his own nation, all right, who can receive this understanding and actually receive proper understanding and judgment. What you saw in that clip was an example of poor judgment. It was an example of a man with no integrity. I won't even say low integrity. All right, and it goes to show you that some guys are so poor that all they have is money. In a room full of women, the only thing that he can talk to them about is the money he made. And to downplay his own people by saying racism don't even exist no more. When you got guys who are coming out of jail 40 years later for a crime they didn't commit just because they look like another guy. Well, you still got situations where Jake is getting beat to a pulp on camera, getting pulled and yanked out of the car. Some of them getting killed. Now, ultimately, those are judgments of the Lord. But as the scriptures say, the Lord said he would send a fierce nation against us who would not regard the old or young. All right, that they hunt your steps. And when you look at the average Negro, Latino, or Native American, all right, not just here, but abroad, it's not good. And one man making $100 million doesn't change that. This is why these guys don't get grocery stores. These guys don't make $100 million and go buy grocery stores and put Jake on and, give Jake a salary. These guys get money and then brag about it to other people of their nation that are already poor. And this is why ultimately the Lord is going to destroy 2/3 of our people. Even the ones who receive their prize, their consolation in this world. Or as a matter of fact, this is 1 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 8. Now ye are full. Now ye are rich. Ye have reigned as kings without us. And I would to the Most High ye did reign, that we also might reign with you. For I think that the Most High hath set forth us the apostles last, as it were appointed to death. For we are made a spectacle unto the world, and to angels, and to men. All right, and that's what the Lord is doing. He's setting a standard of men who have integrity. All right, and not just any integrity, but the integrity of Yahweh Shema Shai, according to their measures. And that's the standard the Lord is setting up. Except the Lord had left unto us a remnant, all right, who would hold on to integrity more than fiat currency. Because this is who our people look up to. This is who Esau puts on a pedestal and gives him the ability to speak to millions of people that look like you. A guy that thinks like this. And this is why the Lord set the apostles up last, as it were, appointed unto death. Because now the covering cast is being removed and you can accept it or reject it. But it doesn't change the fact that it's the truth. And guys like this are gonna fare very terrible in the coming days. All right. And these coming these times that we're coming into, guys like this are not going to do well, man. All right, because his whole life revolves around fiat currency. His identity is attached to fiat currency and the status that Esau has given him in this world. So when this place collapses, his confidence, which he invested in this place, is going to be his shame. All right. This Revelation chapter 3 and verse 17. Because thou sayest, I am rich and increase with goods and have need of nothing, and knowest not that thou art wretched and miserable and poor and blind and naked. And that's why this truth is more priceless than all rubies, fiat currency, and gold. Because when these things come to pass, only the Lord's elect are going to be saved from this, man. Lord willing, we be a part of that number. But that is the reality. And guys who have placed their confidence and their hope in Egypt are going to lose. Guys like this who think that they're full, they're rich, all right, because they can go and sleep with women, all right, whenever they choose, or go jet set to another city and another country, that they're in good case, and they can tell our people that racism don't exist because they've been able to do things that the average Negro, Latino, or Native American cannot do. When this thing hits the fan, guys like this are not going to do well. And you can see why through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shai. That was a proud statement, to say the least. Completely blind and negligent concerning the state of your people. Completely out of touch with what's actually going on, all right, amongst your own people. And this is why guys like this say they don't watch the news or anything. They're willfully ignorant. And then they'll give Jake this terrible advice for Jake to think there's something wrong with them because they broke. Got Jake right now working 8-10 jobs trying to be the next millionaire of his family, and he can't understand why he ain't got there yet. And then you got guys like Antonio Brown who will tell him that racism don't exist, so it's just you just not working hard enough. 8-9 jobs ain't enough. You got to do something. You got to keep going. You got to get 2 hours of sleep a night instead of 6. And this is why the Lord said, rise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. But guys like this and Steve Harvey and many guys like them will put a battery in Jake's back to make them believe that this is your rest. And that the racism you obviously see going on in the world is just your imagination. And why? Because he made $100 million. And didn't buy grocery stores, didn't buy an electricity grid, didn't buy a farming chain to give Jake non-GMO food. Just got on a podcast and bragged about how playing football made him $100 million. And that racism don't exist and you can do what you want. But you look at the average Negro, Latino, or Native American in their life, and you tell me if you're really free or not. This same guy got to ask Esau for permission to leave the country and come back. That's racism in itself. The fact that another nation of people get to tell you when you can and can't come back. All right, when you can come back, where you can go. They give you permission to do it, even though you got the money to go. But Jake, the scriptures say wisdom is too high for a fool. And Jake is completely ignorant to the way the world that he lives in works. All right. Proverbs 24:7. Wisdom is too high for a fool. He openeth not his mouth in the gate. All right. And this is why the Lord is setting up a different standard in the earth. The Lord is setting up men of integrity, beginning with our apostles on down, that give forth true judgment, an example of true integrity. And this is what the Lord had set up in the ancient world for our people. Judges who would not wrest judgment by taking bribes and gifts. The Lord said he's not a respecter of persons. And the law that he gave us directly instructed us to not be a respecter of persons and to not accept gifts that will destroy and pervert your ability to judge. And it shows you how selfish our people have become, where as long as their personal situation is successful, they don't care about the condition of their own people. If they don't see it for themselves, if they're not being persecuted personally, then they don't care about the condition of the average Negro, Latino, or Native American. And that's why ultimately the Lord's going to destroy them. All right. So Lord willing, this was edifying. With that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who are the elders of Yasher Allah, and a sincere salutation to all you Akim, who are preaching this word and believing this word, and to the Akwath, who are believing this word in all truth and in sincerity. Shalom.